I guess this is my dissertation. Welcome to graduation. Good morning. It's gonna be some good ass background music, and it's at a nice little volume, so it's not gonna. The acoustic in this motherfucker is just ill though. Shit's nice. Good morning. What up though? It's your boy Kyle, aka Track, aka Trackstar, aka Trackalack. Got a dope ass episode in this motherfucker. So I got my book. Hold on, let's see if I say it right. Man, I feel like anytime I put pressure on it, I never say it right. Anytime.
Just say Peter.
Pedro.
Pedro. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that shit.
You put too much emphasis on the draw. It's Pedro. It's like one whole R. Like you don't even try and say draw.
Got
say
you.
Pedro.
But that's your real name though.
Pedro. I don't care if you say it.
Fair enough.
I always like all my friends call me Peter.
Fair enough. We got Pedro, aka Peter, aka Petey, aka Pete. In the Petey in the building. Dope ass episodes. You know, we got a creative guest every time. But this one of my boys, one of the first people I met down here. So that always makes it such a smooth ass episode anytime it's somebody that I already knew. I got some people that I just met. I was just so intrigued with them that I had to get them on the podcast. But this one got my boy Peter with me, and he's a chef in this motherfucker. So I didn't have to do shit. I didn't have to draw nothing this time. We got to show his shit. And
I'm really just a cook.
Just to cook? That's what you go by, just to cook?
You're a chef when other people start calling you chef.
Well, I'm calling you a chef. You just chefed up some shit for me, nigga.
Yeah, but I can also say I cooked you up some stuff.
Fair enough, yeah. I guess, but I don't know. It's just there's different levels to it. It's like
I guess with cooks, between other cooks, like you can always call whoever's the head guy, the chef, but like you don't call another cook, hey chef, you know, like it doesn't sound right to us. I guess like I don't know, to us, it's like when you earn the spot, because I mean I could come, like I'm straight out of culinary school and like
right.
I'm technically on my diploma, I'm a chef.
Right.
But to other head chefs, they've been in the game for like 40, 30, 20 years plus, and I'm in it for 6 years, not even 10 years. I haven't been in it for a decade yet.
I feel you.
So like they earned that spot because they had to come in late nights, early mornings, their knees hurt, their ankles fucked up. They got cuts and blisters all over their hands and shit. Their arms. I just got a few scrapes.
Yeah, and you still working your way up. And respect to you, humbly putting it. Cause one of my niggas told me though a minute ago, Carl, you met him before. One of my niggas let me know is like you gotta just remember to allow other people to champion you.
Oh yeah,
like what I think what he means by that is like to some other little kid or somebody else that you meet, you might be the illest chef that they've ever known.
You can be the hero, and
exactly.
Really, in your eyes, you're not that hero.
Right, yeah, and you might not even think of yourself that big, but who are you to tell them how to look at you, though? Which is weird, right? But that's he dropped that gem on me. He's like, damn, that's real. Like if you're somebody else's Superman, don't tell them, nah, I'm not that nigga.
I'm fucking Robin.
Right, yeah, you might be the person that they think can fly, and if you're that person, you gotta. It sucks sometimes. That's a little pressure sometimes, but.
No, I feel
that's
you.
what it is, though. Yes,
but I always I let people say it, but like I always tell people I'm just a cook. I mean, it sounds humble, but to me, you're not a chef unless you have a whole like squad or a whole kitchen calling you chef.
Right.
Like, you know.
Right, but you do acknowledge the fact that you went through culinary school. You have a degree of sorts, so you are in this. At least you're in this in between phase.
Yeah, I'm in the in between.
Right,
between
the expert and the person that knows nothing like me about cooking.
I'm learning more and more every day, but I can't say I'm a chef because I don't know everything. I still learn from other people, and I learn from other cooks too. You know, like someone could have less experience than me and know a little bit more than me because they read books. You know.
That's real. That's real.
But in culinary school, what I saw a lot is like niggas would just go in, and that's like their first ever doing anything culinarian, and they'll burn and cut themselves, and they're trying to tell me how to do my shit. And you know, like I used to try. At first, I'd get mad and be like, "Look, bro, I have 6 years prior to culinary school, or 5 years at the time." prior to culinary school that I've been working in the industry. I'm not gonna take shit from you. And some of them niggas didn't know what they're talking about. Now they learn from where I come from. But basically, to me, your experience is the biggest thing for in the industry of food and culinary. Experience and details are like the biggest thing seen. You could be good as fuck, fast, amazing. You can make everything look good, but the little details that you do and the little details you do, like, it makes a big difference. And I used to never, like, when I first started off, I was like, oh, I'm gonna just make it and get it out the window. I thought being fast was the most important thing, which it is.
It's important, yeah.
It's a big important thing, but like, now working in my station that I do now, I do a shitload of curries and sauteing stuff, you know, and like, my chef be like, look, you doing it fast, but your plates look nasty, and I'm gonna have to clean them over.
Right.
And then now I'm learning how to be like cleaner, more efficient. Like before, I never really thought about little things, but you know, so I don't know how to picture it, but say right here was my little saute station, right here's my line. Mm-hmm. Going back and forth like this, mm-hmm. You're wasting like 6 seconds doing that. If you put a shitload the first time and you're just heating up like soups and stuff, you just have to turn back once, dump it, and then start something else, you know? And you save at least like 4 seconds. I really didn't think about it like that till he explained it to me. Like those few seconds are like quick seconds you could have done, and then like I never really thought about, you know, like I'll get the hot pot and bring it to a cold plate right here instead of bringing a cold plate to a hot pot. So I don't be swinging hot shit around, you know what I mean?
Right.
And he was like, it's safer like that. And then when I started realizing little shit, that's when I was like, man, I can't call myself a chef yet because I don't know all that little stuff, you know? I don't do that off instinct. There's things in different stations that I do off instinct, and people are like, oh, he's done that for a long time. Like doing the grills, bro, I love working with grills. I've done wood, flame, gas, all types of grills. I love doing grill shit because it's just timing your stuff real easily. But it's like sautés, you burn your hand so many times. Like I got so many fresh new burns, dog. Like every day I'm like, damn, bro, right. I used to never burn myself. But I never worked in a station like that, you know what I mean?
Damn, that's ill. Yeah, I feel like there's a middle to meet in that though, cause like on one end, like I respect that you're always, I think, always gonna feel like a student of the game. I feel like that with drawing or art making of any sort.
You have
like,
to,
it's huge.
Artists in general, you're always gonna have someone that knows more. Yeah, and you always have some to show someone else.
Right, you never want to feel like you know everything, because then when you know everything, you're not gonna be acceptive to learning anything else at that point. But then at the same time, do you think there will ever be that time when you consider yourself a chef? Like, would that point ever hit where that realization, like, yo, I'm really... I mean, it does happen sometimes.
It happens. Like, I mean...
There's those level up moments,
I'm dope as fuck. Like, I tell everyone, I know how to cook whatever. Right. Like, I know how to cook more than other people. Like, I know how to cook, like, 8 or 9 different dishes. But, like... Or, like, I can cook... Not dishes, but, like, from around the world, I know how to cook things, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know one thing. There's, like, people I could call them an expert at one food. And I'm not expert, probably like I don't know how to explain it. Like I'm learning in so many foods, but I know culture, you know, and I know what different things make this into this type of culture, and what type of cultures use this because this is what's around them. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to consider myself an expert, even if I'm like 50 or 40 still cooking, and some young cat from like, I don't know, Antarctica or like some like place, I don't know, like some area in Africa, like, and they come and they show me the food from their country. I don't know shit about their food. I had head chefs whenever we would, like, I had an Italian chef, and he saw me make El Salvadorian food, and he know what the fuck made El Salvadorian food till I started explaining to him. And I didn't know what the fuck made Italian food. Like in my head, Italian food is pasta, a sauce, and a protein or a veggie. And to him, he explained to me all of the steps to making something true Italian food. And he can make amazing, like best Italian food I ever had. He was born in Sicily, came and was raised in Texas, you know, and like he was one of those people that are like the nerdy cooks, you know. That's why I call him, you know, because like he's by the book. He goes by everything, percentage, ratios, and all that shit.
Yeah.
And he makes like stuff like kind of like by the book, which is great. But like, you know, me, I'm not by the book at all. Like he told me I'm one of his least favorite students trying to teach, but cooking wise, I'm one of the best students there, you know? And that was the realest shit he ever told me.
This is one of the culinary teachers.
Yeah, he was one of my culinary chefs. And like, you know, when we first met each other, bro, we butted heads. And like, he didn't think of me as the one person that was the teacher's pet in the whole culinary school or in that area, in that art class. He would favorite her until he started seeing that, like, you know, I cook better than her, I'm faster than her, I make shit look better than her. And then she just went by everything by the book. But you know, man, like, fuck that book, bro. Like, this book right here, bro, I would toss this out the window. Oh, fuck. But, like, I would toss that shit out the window. Right. Well, I kind of did, but, like, toss it across the table. Right, yeah. But, like, you know.
Was you done with that brew, by the way? Was there anything else in there?
Nah, there was nothing in there.
Okay,
bro.
cool.
That's why I didn't really care. If something fell on the ground, I'm like, oh, shit, we gotta cut that hoe. Nah.
Right, yeah.
But, no, bro, if you know the techniques and you know what you're doing, like me, where I made you today, it was like some things, like the tagine, I looked at ingredients, but I didn't look at the steps or nothing. I just looked at the ingredients. I know, oh, this is a certain place in Morocco that makes this kind of tagine, and I think it's easier for what I wanted to do because I had two other dishes to make, so like, you know, I could put all that shit together, brown the chicken, all that stuff. You know, it's all simple stuff. Add the seasonings and then add my stock and leave it to braise. You know, it was easier.
Right.
There's other stuff where you have to like babysit stuff, you know, and like that's what most people, I think I tell them the most about. Like, you don't have to babysit everything. If you're good at time management, there's no need to babysit everything. But even then, like, a lot of people like put a timer on it, and I never put timers on stuff. And I'm so bad at that shit. Like, I burned stuff before in the kitchen when we needed something for service, you know. And I'm like, fuck, what do I do, bro? I should have set a timer. I'm a dumbass for not doing it. Right. But even at that, like, there's most of the time, for the most part, I'll put something in the oven and always remember it. I have really, like, memory is a key thing to me.
Yeah, that's a really big thing in the cooking thing that I've learned. And I've had very minimal experience in cooking anything, but that was a big thing that I learned. Once you're the one person in there that is responsible for cranking out the most stuff in whatever restaurant it is, like, time management was a big thing in that.
Yeah.
But to unpack kind of what you made today, and then we're gonna kind of rewind to like your beginnings in cooking and all that shit. Like, first off, what was the names of the 3 dishes that you made today?
So
they were 3 different cultures.
Yeah.
Before you dive into all that, we're gonna dive into that in a
all
second.
right, let me get a beer.
All right, go ahead. Yeah. But hey, yo, the sound still picks up really, really good. So you can still. What were the names of the 3 dishes?
I'm almost there. I'll tell you. I'll let the camera see me say it.
The camera gotta see me when I say this shit, because this is the realest shit. Yo, that shit was bomb though. My nigga, like, well, first off, I guess I can get what I wanted to get out anyway on the actual camera, because like we playing on this for a minute. Like, we playing on this for quite some time. But like, my nigga, like I said off camera, like, you really outdid yourself for this. The fact that like you spent money for the sake of knowing that we was about to do a podcast episode. And this little ass podcast episode that like 20, 30 people are going to see this within like the first week. Maybe more will see that later. But besides the point, the fact that you spent money for this, my nigga, like, good shit, bro. Like, I appreciate the fucking up, my nigga.
Yeah,
like,
man.
you real ass nigga for that, my G. Like, that was dope as fuck. But what's the name of the 3 dishes that you made, and what spot are they from?
Okay, so let me start. What do you want me to start with? Like,
just the names of the 3 dishes.
But like,
say the name of the dish and the where it was from.
Where it was from? Okay, because I can go off and drift off.
Right? Yeah.
I'm really good at doing that one.
I feel you. We're gonna get more into what you made today, but we're gonna just say the names of the dishes since for the sake of transitioning.
The ceviche I made was from Peru, and
ceviche from Peru.
It's I guess it's the standard ceviche you can get there. There's a lot, like probably like 15, 14. They're real big. Like, Peru is considered the South American culinary like spot to be like in all of South America. There's great food everywhere, Colombia, Brazil, all that shit. But that's like the culinary mecca for South America. And it's like ceviche I made was kind of like a leche tigre, which is standard in most ceviches in Peru. And other ceviches get a different type of sauce, but like leche tigre is most commonly what you're gonna see. And like I didn't do it truly by the book, you know. I just made my leche tigre, cut my onion. I forgot to add cilantro, but
that shit was flame though. Like,
and like
the ceviche for the that shit. Time out. Hold up. Because that's the one that I know by title first off. But like the ceviche, yo, is the one with the red onions, and it looks like something you would put on top of some tacos or something. But like it looked like a little side thing.
But Mexican ceviche, you put on a tostada, bro, and like that makes Mexican sense. Ceviche.
Because it was
ceviche from like
red onions.
My country, well, my dad's country, El Salvador. We do it in like bowls, but like you can go by the ocean and like there's little ladies pushing the cart and they make it like they have like all these like jars and they open up the jar and they make it in front of you and they toss it to you for like $2.
Dog.
In Guatemala, we don't have a ceviche. We have some fish dishes.
But he made 3 dishes which are pretty common in the place that they're from, but he made 3 dishes that are from 3 different spots of the world, which like swag. I whip that up real quick. He did that for y'all. So like, he did it for me a little bit too, but that's for y'all too though, and for him a little bit.
I mean, that was one of them. I wanted to like showcase what I can do and what I've done in my short time of culinary, but like that ceviche is kind of like a common man ceviche. Like it's not what you would get in a fine dining restaurant. There, it's more like a street ceviche, and it was just like the leche tigre, the onion. It's supposed to get cilantro.
Leche tigre, is that the name for? Is that how
the
you say
sauce?
tilapia?
The sauce.
Oh, that's the sauce. The shit.
Yeah, it was kind of like it's the sauce, and what I've learned is that when you put lime on things, it denaturizes it. That's why, like, when you told me the onions taste better raw than you ever taste them, it's because the onions get denaturized.
Man.
It doesn't cook it. Everyone's like, oh, the lemon cooks the fish. No, that's bullshit. You know, like, it denaturizes it. You're not putting nothing on a fire. So, yeah, and it's a common ceviche. I was supposed to put sweet potato with honey on it and yuca fries on it. But like I don't have time for all that.
Right,
shit
yeah. But it's still the most bomb thing I've ever. It was dope. I don't really fuck with onions all that. I like onions with stuff, but in terms of just onions and one other thing, like that combination of the fish, the onions, and I guess 3 things because that leche tigre, that combination of those 3 things was bomb. It's the most fire shit I've ever had with raw red onions on there. Phenomenal. But what were the other 2 things though? And where were they from? But let's make this one way
the tagine. Yeah, I went off topic.
Yeah, I feel it's all good. This is what you do. Yeah.
But the tagine is like, so I've done Arabic food, but Moroccan food is like African. Well, it's in the continent Africa, but there's a lot of places in Africa that have Arabic food. But Moroccan food to me is like, it's better than any other place in Africa. Morocco has like a real nice culinary place, and the tagine is like this special clay pot, and it's not the food itself that is called tagine, it's the actual thing they cook in, and I can't get a tagine.
Tagine was the chicken one, right?
Mm-hmm, the chicken.
For the common man that don't know what my man is saying.
Chicken.
Yeah, the chicken.
And it's traditionally like what I've seen it been made in is a goat's head put in the tagine, and they cook it for 2 days underground. Then they take it out and then they warm it up for you. But like what I made was a sped up process with chicken, and like they do chicken tagines too. But like
what they eat with the goat's head? They just take the cheeks
off. They rip it off with either they use pita bread or some.
What meat from the head are they eating?
The whole head. They're eating the cheeks, all of that. Like, bro, but it's so good. It's barbacoa. Barbacoa is the cow's head or a goat's head.
No
it's
shit.
The cheeks. Yeah, it's the cheeks.
Damn, I like barbacoa.
Everyone's telling niggas.
On my Chipotle burritos, I love that shit.
Barbacoa, man.
Damn, but
crazy. Yeah, it's traditionally made with goat's head, and it's kind of like when you order that in Morocco, it comes with garbanzo beans and all this other shit in it. Then you get a bunch of little side plates, kind of like Korean food.
And that's the one you made out of the 3 that was the neutral one, right?
Yeah,
you said
that
you
one,
wanted 3 plates that were what? Neutral?
I wanted one that was spicy,
Uh-huh.
refreshing, and one that was more a little bit neutral. And that one I could have made it spicier than it was, and I could have made the turmeric a big player in it, but I made each spice to where like it made the food neutral. It didn't make it like it had good flavor to it, but it wasn't over the top. Like it's too spicy. Oh, there's so much of this.
Save that one for the third one, which was the
rice, the egg, the pad kapow. And now that's
Thailand, you said, right?
That's from Thailand. Yeah, that's So I don't know where originally in Thailand it originates, but the person who taught me how to do it, she was from northern Thailand, which was the countryside. And she told me it's more like not peasant food, but it was like for the average man or the poor person's food, because it's minced pork. It's cheap ingredients: minced pork, salt. Minced pork, rice, egg, basil. And basil grows like Thai basil is like everywhere in Thailand. And that's like that's the simplest dish out of all of them I made. That was the least work. You saw how many things I put in there? It was just a basil, fish sauce, soy sauce, pork, the Thai chili, garlic, and then I cooked the rice and the egg. It's nothing like, it was nothing over the top. Yeah, it's my favorite thing to eat, bro. Like, I can eat that any day of the week and I'll be good,
Yeah. And like I feel fresh. Like we ate all that and I crushed that shit.
Yeah, like I ate that
good.
shit.
Yeah, I felt like I could go hoop and not feel like I was gonna throw up.
Yeah, and that's like kind of like when I cook for people, I don't like to like kill them, bro. And like I think most people in restaurants, they make over the top food and you're like full as fuck. But I like to make things to keep you going,
Yeah, that shit was fire.
I was actually thinking about making food from El Salvador and Guatemala, but then like I was like, that's not. I mean, I could showcase how I can do there, but I'd rather showcase that I know more than this who I am. And like, I suck at Italian food. I can make it, but I suck at Italian food.
Why do you think you suck at Italian food? I remember you saying that earlier. That was one of the ones I was just like, I'll save that for later and if we get to it,
Cause I feel like Italian people make Italian food dope as fuck, and like if they try my Italian, they'll be like, oh, this isn't Italian, but it's good. But like I don't think I can make, like the chef I'm talking about, like he made Italian food and it's amazing, but like I guess it's too simple for what I like to do, It's like the classical classical cooking is French, Italian, and Spaniard food. And like those 3 foods I really never have focused too much on, And my Asian food experience is Korean and Thai. I've done a little Szechuan, but I haven't done too much of Chinese food. Szechuan is Chinese, but it's the nicer way to say it. Like it's a nice, like to us in America we have I think 15, 16 ways of cooking. To them it's 25 ways of cooking. And the chef
in China?
Yeah, in China, but like Chinese food we eat here is like plain, dumbed down Chinese food.
Oh yeah, for sure. I figured that out. Anywhere you travel, what we have here is just the really bland version.
Szechuan Chinese food is like the nicer, like it's a special way of cooking in China, and it's called Szechuan. And like what was dope to me is like their chef knife is a cleaver, bro. And like to me, I'm like, how do you do everything with a cleaver? Like I can't gut fish with a cleaver. I can't. Man, you saw how I was having trouble with my chef knife gutting the fish, and if y'all see that shit, like I didn't have a fish knife, and I was killing that bitch, but it came out good. Like I really feel like if someone sees that in their culinary, like man, that nigga murdered that fish. Like that nigga was tearing that bitch. But I didn't have my fish knife, bro. And
that's what that formal training.
Yeah, like I mean, I could do the best I could, but like with my fish knife, I could have started from like the head and went back all the way down and came back up, But like I tried doing it with my chef knife and I kept hitting the bone because it's so long. So I was just gave up on that part.
That's funny.
I was so frustrated with that, but
random question. This doesn't necessarily have to do with you. It's just something I was thinking about because I feel like in terms of music, for example, it's easy for me at least to dictate genres in music because based off of the instruments. the instruments that are not even the singer. The singers are relevant to me. The instruments are what dictates genres in music. But what dictates food groups for different cultures? Like what's the difference between like Italian foods? How do you separate that?
I think it's a lot like music, bro.
The ingredients or is it the spices?
To be honest, it is a lot like music. So like with music, certain things make it a certain genre, certain ways of singing, certain noises you hear, and it's real opinionated.
Right, yeah, you get what I'm asking, right?
Yeah,
because we use the same foods, but we use them differently to separate
and
it.
like with food, it's what you choose to use, what you choose, how you make it, what you choose to put in it. Like, so when I make Arabic food, a key thing I use is olive oil, parsley, sometimes turmeric in some things, but most things get turmeric. Parsley, I think, is the biggest thing I've noticed about Arabic food, and I could be wrong, but like cherry tomatoes, mint is real big. Dill is a huge player. They use a lot more herbs in a different way. Like when I made falafel, I used a bunch of green herbs, but I made a Lebanese falafel, and each country has their different falafel, which is cool, which is dope to me. Cause like Pakistanis had a different way of making falafel. Like they finish theirs off with sesame seeds, but each one of them gets a sauce called tahini, and then some countries use tzatziki and some don't, and their culture is a lot based in like what they can get their hands on. It's a lot of herbs there. Like like when you first read about the beginning of man. The most Arabic countries in Africa was the beginning of men's and stuff, and like they have some of like the oldest like techniques and really simple techniques. And then Asian food, what I've noticed is a lot of green onion, ginger is used so much. Ginger is used in almost every dish. Soy sauce replaces salt. Fish sauce replaces salt.
Seems like rice and noodles seems to be like a base for most of their foods too, versus like how we use bread.
To me, rice is in every culture. Yeah. There's not a culture that doesn't have rice. You go to Central America and South America, rice. You go to Europe, there's rice, pilafs. There's risotto in Italy. There's paella in Spain. There's arroz con pollo in South America and stuff. In Asia, there's jasmine rice everywhere. And the Arabics use basmati rice. Rice is everywhere. Rice is universal. Right. It's just which rice you choose to use.
Rice didn't start in like more Asian, European type areas?
Rice to me started in Arabic, and then because Arabic was one of the first like Islam and Arabic, all that stuff, it started, was the beginning of the world, and they started rice, and they started a lot of the food that they eat back then, olives and stuff, like they use a lot of olives in their food, and that was kind of a start of like the cultures for them. And then Asia was another old, like they were back in the olden times, you know what I mean, and like they had a lot of rice too. Rice kept everyone fed, and beans and stuff, like beans usually come from like African cultures, like Ethiopia, all that stuff. They have beans, but Ethiopians, they blend all their shit. Like they have real simple way of cooking because they cook everything down, and it's kind of like baby food. Whenever I eat Ethiopian food, I mean, I've thrown up once eating Ethiopian food because it just, the texture to me is too much. It's too much like baby food, and there's some things I like. I forgot what their bread is called, but it's just like flat bread, and they put other things in there, and you just rip a piece and grab it and go like that, which is dope, bro. Like their braised collard greens is different from ours. Like country style braised collard greens, a little bit of vinegar, onion, bacon, the collard greens, then you eat the pot licking. Oh, that's so great to me. That's like my favorite soul food.
That's dope.
But other than that, like, food to make it different, like what makes food different is just what you choose to put in it. Like there's certain things that make this type of the world this, like Spanish,
certain combinations of
like,
spices and certain ingredients,
and like Mexican
staple,
food,
I guess.
A lot of people, when I tell them I'm a Salvadoran Guatemalan, they're like, "Oh, so you eat Mexican food?" I'm like, "No, I don't eat Mexican food. I like real Mexican food you can go get in Mexico.
Right. Yeah, you're the first nigga that really started like educating me on that, like how different it is even in Central America or Mexico. Like there's a big difference.
So for us over there, they call gorditas, what we call pupusas, which is maseca, which is cornmeal, and like we wet it and then we put like our traditional revuelta pupusas, beans and cheese, whatever cheese you can find, and then you close the ball up and you kind of smash it and you put it on the flat top or griddle, and then what we have that's different is cortida, which is basically like our fermented cabbage, not like kimchi, but it's like fermented cabbage, which is fermented like for a day or so, and it's like cabbage, carrots, jalapeno, what is it, cucumber, and salt, pepper, and maybe 2 other things I have to really look back into because I don't remember everything, but like, and that makes it different. And then you go to Honduras, they call their pupusa the same as ours, but they use fermented purple onions, and that's their stuff, and it tastes different for me. I think El Salvador has the best one, but generally, like, I could be biased because I'm a Salvadorian, but like, also, like, you look at Honduran food, and they call tacos what you would call flautas, and that's Honduran tacos, and they put like cabbage, cotija cheese, and some white sauce on it. I don't know too much about Honduran food.
Yeah.
And then in El Salvador, the favorite dish that like I love about El Salvador is like we do. Well, there's 2. There's one where we take the mojado fish, we wrap it in banana leaves, and we steam it, and we take it out and we fry it, and then it's like you grab it in the meat's so good on that fish, bro. It's like, it's not like a monkfish where it's really fatty meat, but the meat is real clean when you eat it, and I love that shit. Our ceviche is real, like, our ceviche is rustic. Out of all the countries, it's more rustic, like, not dirty, rustic, kind of looks hearty, you know. It doesn't look like a normal, like, clean. You know, see that ceviche I had, it would look clean and cut.
Yeah.
It didn't look dirty, but like that one looks dirty, like it looks darker, it looks more like less as bright and stuff, but it's rustic, you know, and we eat it, and that shit is amazing to me, you know.
When did this fascination with cooking start with you, or when do you think that moment happened where it's kind of a 2-part question between like when you fell in love with it and when your like first memories with cooking started?
Well, I don't think I ever fell in love with cooking till I started doing more with food, you know. Like at first it was kind of like it intrigued me, and like I kind of wanted to see something other than what my mom makes all the time. And like, you know, I would see like chefs do stuff, and I'll be like, wow, that's cool. Like I don't know what made me really fall into it is because like I needed a job, and then like it was one of those places where like I started as a dishwasher for like a year, bro. I was washing dishes, and they saw I was just busting my ass at such a young age. Like, okay, well, we're gonna put you on the code line. And I learned the code line in like a few weeks. Then they're like, okay, well, you wanna try doing the grill and stuff? Then like they had me as the grill dude. I did everything, you know, and I did prep and stuff. And I became really good at it. And I always told everyone, like, I want to become a chef one day. And okay, well, we're going to try and make you a chef. And that place was dope, bro. But
was this when you was a teenager?
Yeah, it was like Mexican food. And it was just like, it got to a point after a year and a half, it was like everything became easy for me, you know? And I was like, wow, I'm actually pretty good at it. But I don't have a knowledge behind other than like this food. I don't have a knowledge other than I ain't ask enough questions. Why we do this? Why we mix that? Then what made me fall in love with cooking is like I've always wanted to travel. You know, I've always wanted to move places. But like I feel like you learn more about culture when you learn what they eat. You know, you learn a lot about a place by what they eat and why they eat it and what's like a national dish there. What's like makes this dish big over there. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's a deep thing when you really get to thinking about it like that. I think that takes a certain amount of passion to even give a fuck enough to want to dive that much into it. So I guess what made you decide to go into culinary school? Because that's another step to decide I'm going into school to study this shit.
Culinary school was just because everything I was doing was too easy, and I was like, I need to learn how to do something else. you know, and I wanted to learn. I thought going to culinary school was gonna make me a chef, you know, and going to culinary school didn't make me a chef at all. Like it made me have a learning of food, which I really like think that I have this learning of food, but I learned more outside of culinary. I learned how to cook a lot of different other things other than what you learn in culinary school. And like what I learned in culinary school was the 3 classical cookings, a couple of cookings from other different places, and like you just learn the food and the cooking, but you don't learn you learn techniques, but you don't learn how to work in the kitchen. And that's why I used to tell everyone in my class, because I was the only one with the most experience, and I was one of the youngest dudes in there. And like people when I first got in there, you know, they would think, oh, this is some loud kid that like doesn't give a fuck about everything. But when we got in the kitchen, you know, like we would do our practicals. I was always ranked one of the highest in our practicals when we had to do cooking, and the chef would taste them like, oh, this is good, this is bad. Right. Oh, you need to do this, and I always like was one of the highest rankings because I already had experience and I knew how to work. You know, right, like I know how to do things. I can time it. I used to put things in the oven and like, hey, aren't you gonna put a timer? Aren't you gonna check on that? Like, nah, I know it's in the oven. And like they'll be like looking at me like, what the fuck, bro? Like you gonna do that? Like you really gonna do that? You're gonna mess up your project? Like, okay, like, I gotta work on this hollandaise, and I'll finish my hollandaise and go back and take it out. I'm like, oh, bro, I fucked up. And they're like, really? I'm like, hell nah, nigga. I'm like, look at my fucking shit.
Right? Yeah, yeah. This I get what you mean.
I know I'm dope in my head and I can hear it from other people, but I don't want to hear it because, like, I guess always in my life. Every time someone told me I can't do something, I end up trying. It gives me a fire to prove them I can do it. You know, like when I first started playing b-ball, you know, basketball, I sucked ass, bro. And everyone's like, bro, why don't you stop playing basketball? And then, like after the years, bro, I started being able to shoot and stuff. I'm not good at dribbling, but like I can ball. You know, like I know how to play. I score points. You know, and like you know, I kind of had a fire for me, like. Driving myself to like become that good. And like even now in culinary, my first chef that actually told me, or the first person that was a chef that I worked with, which was, I was young, I was like 16 15. He told me like, he's like, you're trying to be a cook, but he's like, you're just like a housewife cooking, you know. He's like, you don't know shit, you know. And then like that kind of burned in my heart and still burns in me, you know. But he respects me. But he's one of those people that give you tough love, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Me and those teachers, yeah.
Yeah, and he's taught me.
It's weird how that works, right?
Like, yeah, bro. Like
I feel like you're so similar to where you're probably the same. Where the teachers that were super passive and they was like,
yeah, you don't learn shit from them.
You know, yeah, but the ones that were just riding you and just on your ass,
hell yeah.
You end up loving them teachers so much more later.
So more. Like I call him from month to month, and I always tell him what I'm doing. And he's never happy, and but when he's drunk and he tells me like, you know, you're the favorite person I ever had work with me because you learned a lot and you're never like satisfied with being better than everyone else. You want to be better, because in that kitchen, bro, I wasn't a lead cook or anything, but I was running 2 kitchens, you know. And the only reason I could get to that point was because of him, you know. Like ever since he told me those words, that's actually what made me want to go culinary school, prove him to him that I could do better than he is.
Oh, you had that guy before you went to culinary school?
Yeah.
Oh, this was a boss at one of your jobs or some shit?
This was in Houston. He was one of the chefs at one of my jobs.
Gosh, when you heard that motherfucker hurt your feelings. As you like, oh yeah, nigga.
Yeah, because in my job before, it was so easy in a year and a half that like I got good at every station and I could do everything.
He called you a housewife. Like,
yeah,
which is so disrespectful. This is really good housewife cooks. Like in 2018, you can't say shit like that. No more.
Like I told him. Yeah. Like I told him when I first met him, I was like, I one day want to be a chef like you are. And then he kind of looked at me and smirked.
You can never be me.
And then he was like, you're just a housewife.
He's stunning on you.
Yeah, he's like, you're just a housewife. He's like, learn how to go sweep the kitchen, then come back. And I was like, damn.
Oh my gosh.
And you know, I used to talk shit back to him. Like me and him used to talk shit. But like when we would hang out, like he was like a second dad to me. He's always been like that. And
that's
like,
crazy. Me and one of my professors like that too. And I told him too, I was like, yo, you're like my art dad. Like, 'cause we had moments where we clashed hellas.
Yeah,
like he would go around the room and like praise so many students, and then he'd come around to me and just kill me. And it's like, dog, what the fuck? And like, it makes sense now because like I was one of them students that I think he was drawn to initially because I think he saw something in me, whether it was a raw talent or a desire or something. And then he just started getting on me all of a sudden, like into year 2 or year 3. And I think that's because he knew my discipline wasn't there.
Yeah, and I'm not disciplined. Like, you see me, bro. I'm a goof, you know. Like, I can get my job done, but I'm goofy, you know. I don't care really too much. But like the people who fuck with you the most are usually the reasons why you get so good.
Yeah.
And like he made me draw attention to detail more. And he's like, he's like, you know, he's like, you can get out orders, of course. He's like, anyone can do that. He's like, but look how messy your station is. He's like, you don't clean periodically, you don't clean as you go. Right. And now, like, whenever I work in new places, they're always like, oh, you're really clean. You like to go and do shit. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah,
because you still got that memory. Like, I didn't used to be. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I didn't always be like that.
You don't want to get like that no more. Yeah. That's crazy how that works. Yeah, you just respond to those people.
And it's kind of weird because, like, I'm waiting till I find some dude younger than me that wants to learn from me. And, like, you know, to me, I don't think I'm gonna be.
You don't be on his.
I'm not gonna be on his ass. I don't want to be a dad to him, but like I want to show him little things from time to time. But like, you know what I respect about Lupe is that, he took me to his house more than one occasion, and he invited me to his house, and he was cooking. Like I still remember, he cooked the first thing he cooked in front of me was chicken marsala, which was an Italian dish.
This is the one that got on you.
Yeah, and he took me to his house, and he cooked chicken marsala for a banquet. And he showed me why he's doing this, how to reduce stuff, how to do this, and then that gave me an interest. And then, you know, he was like, you know, I see a lot in you that I see in me. He's like, you like to go out, you like to party, you're outgoing, you talk a lot, you don't know when to shut up. He's like, but you gotta learn how to have a work you and outside of you, you know, like. If I'm doing something in the kitchen, you know, I try and be as focused as I can, and I do focus. But I like to play around at the same time. That's one thing he didn't like. I'm still like that, but my work ethic is way better than it was back then. Like I get all my shit done and then talk, you know.
Right.
Or I can talk and do my shit, babe. I know when I have to just do something serious, you know, and that's why we give him credit for it.
Yeah, that's dope as fuck. That's what's up. What's your favorite? Because you talked about how like Italian food is one of your least favorites. What's one of your favorite? Outside of your own heritage, just cooking. Assuming that's one of them.
Yeah, I mean my favorite food is from my country because it brings me it lets me connect to my roots, you know. But like I don't know.
Outside of that one, yeah.
Outside of food that like I'm used to.
Yeah, outside of Central American swag.
I don't have any, you know. I respect all cultures differently. I think, damn, I can't tell you which one, cause like you know, you tell me let's go get Euro, I'm down, you know.
Right.
You tell me let's go get Persian food, let's go get Thai food, I'm down, you know.
Right.
We can go get Ethiopian food. I tried almost anything you put in front of me. The one thing I regret trying is escargot, and I think cow eye. I ate it once, fried. And man, bro, it was good, but the texture of it is like
mushy in the inside.
It squeezes and it opens up in the inside, which was nasty.
It's
bro.
like
it's
like a mushroom almost.
No, not a mushroom. I could eat a mushroom by itself.
Not even as tough as a mushroom.
No, it was like.
I'm trying to think of something that's like as soon as you bite into
I
it,
can't explain it, bro. But
I think I know what you mean, though.
But the texture of it was what disgusted me. The flavor was there. The flavor
it's fried, so fried. It didn't look like an eyeball, huh? Was it just a ball?
No, it was kind of like a little ball. You could
if somebody made it and gave me something to dip it in, it was like, here, try this, and it smelled good. I'd try it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my thing on food. Just don't tell me what it is first, man. Like, if it looks presentable, I'll try the shit.
Yeah, like the shit you've tried with me.
The
shit you've tried with me, I never tell you. I just eat it, and then if you don't like it, I'll finish it. You know, I always tell you that.
Yeah.
That's funny. But I just have some homies like back in Houston, bro. Like everyone's picky. They're like, bro, you eat wild, bro. I'm like, what you mean, bro? Like I eat food. Like I took him to eat Vietnamese food. He's like, I can't eat that, bro. I'm like, what? I was like, how can you not eat that? And then I have another homie that he's like, He's like, I can't eat chicken off the bone. Like, to me, that's crazy, bro. Cause like, you know, I ain't have.
It's weird if I'm not eating it off the bone. To me,
Yeah,
I can have boneless chicken, but I like
knowing it's on the bone.
Yeah, it just feels more authentic to me.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
And it like, bro, that's so weird to me. I was like, man, what were you gonna do if there's like a nuclear dropout and you can't pick what you eat, nigga? He's like, I don't know.
I have theories about that type. Well, at least for me though, because like with hunting, I'm like that. Like I could go hunting, I could shoot something. But I'm not gonna gut it. I'm not cutting it open.
I'll do it.
I'll
do it, but like
I'll fish. I can do it with fish, and I can do it with anything else because I'm not trying to cut the heart out.
Because you aren't gonna pet it or what?
No, it's not even that. Like fish don't have fish have a lot of organs, but it's in such a small little spot that
like you eat a snake.
Yeah, I'll eat anything, fam. Like I'll eat a deer. My thing is, I just don't want to cut the deer open and pull the heart out and watch all the blood fly out. Nah, I'm good on that.
I'll do it.
If shit hit the fan, let the apocalypse happen right now. I'll shoot a deer, get a fire started, and I'll eat that. I'll eat the eyes and everything if I had to, but I don't have to right now. So like, I'll let some other nigga do that nasty shit.
Nah, I would do it, but like, I would respect the animal. I've seen them kill the fucking pig, bro. Pigs are the smartest thing, smartest damn animal, bro. Because they know when you're coming to kill them, bro. Of all
which is amazing because we slaughter.
Yeah, like, we fucking.
I've heard. I met somebody on Instagram that like house trains a pig and like.
Bro, so I'll tell you
how smart it is.
Two things. Okay, so I've been to in culinary school. We went to a chicken farm where they show you them killing them, bro.
Aww.
And like, bro, the dude just came by. All of them, bro. I was like, damn, bro. And then they take them in a conveyor belt, and like you saw the guts fall. Like, what the fuck? And there was some like one of those sensitive people
gross,
right next to me. He's like, and I was like, no, bro, you can't do that noise right now. I was like, that's out of a cartoon, bro. I was like, don't do that shit. And like they had given me edibles on the car right there, so I fell asleep and woke up. Then I felt the edible, and then like I was standing right next to it. And I was like, damn, bro, I'm pretty stoned, and I'm seeing these niggas kill the chicken. And they said, and I was like, no, I felt like giving me a pat on the back. But like pigs, bro. They know when you're coming to kill them, bro. Like you have. They say the only way to like kill a pig cleanly is to stab them in the heart, bro. But like, they know when you're coming, bro, which is crazy. I've cows, you can just herd them into a place and they'll die. You know, chickens, you just pick them up, they'll die. But pigs, bro, they make the scariest. You know, like it sounds terrible. It sounds like you're killing more than one animal.
Yeah, pig squeals are. Oh.
Yeah, bro. Like those are the worst ones.
Like yeah, like I could kill if need be. I can be ruthless, but I'd rather not. Like I'm good on all that. I'll eat some salads and shit.
I would drink the deer blood or something.
Yeah, I'm good on that. Niggas be on some nasty shit. I'm mad that this whole time we've been doing all this shit.
The like, commercials keep coming on?
Nah, like the commercials come, but these commercials that are like 5 minutes long, it's like, nigga,
it's usually never 5 minute long commercials.
Like that shit didn't crack until we started doing this shit. Now all these long ass. That video was ill though. I never saw that Russ video. That shit was dope.
I don't understand half the shit he says.
Who, Russ?
Yeah. I like Party Next Door more than Russ.
I don't really be up on him. I don't be
up on like music like that though. Like,
Russ is cool. I did hear Russ's album.
I stopped listening to music like that. I started listening to EDM.
So do you have a favorite dish?
Favorite dish? I don't know, man. I can't say I have a favorite dish that I make. I don't even, if someone were to come up to me like, what's your best dish you make? I can't give them an answer because I'd be like, I can make a lot of things.
Right.
It depends on like what I want to make. Like, I feel personally, if I were to be a personal cook, I would make something from a different place every day because I can't figure out what's my specialty and I can't figure out what's what's something I like to eat every day.
That's interesting. That sounds like a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, especially if you ever wanted to open up your own restaurants. And it's like, damn,
well, open up my own restaurant wouldn't be hard because I can come up with a lot of dishes and I can think of dishes and I could think of my own things while I want to make a play off of something.
Right.
And like,
is that something you want to do? Make like
well, my one of my dreams is to make fine dining El Salvadoran and Guatemalan food because it's never been done. I've never seen. It's mostly you see them at food trucks or little hole in the walls. You see a Salvadoran place or a Guatemalan place, but you never see in fine dining attributes. And I can make most of that food look fine. You know, it's a lot of simple food, but I can make it look fine dining. You know. Just because I've had so much time doing fine dining. Fine dining is just taking your time and making something look different from what it was. You can make a play on something. Like, I've seen chicken and wings look fine dining just by turning it in a different way, adding a special sauce to it. Instead of, like, tossing in the sauce and throwing it on that shit.
Yeah, that seems to be the big difference between fine dining and even, like, some food truck food. Because I think many people, especially if you come down here to Austin, Texas, you'll realize a lot of food truck food is killing most food just in general, but the difference just seems to be the presentation. It's not even necessarily about the way it tastes at all. Just
sometimes it is. Some places it is. I've noticed some places it is. The hardest food or the best place I've ever had food, fine dining wise, it was like they were doing the futuristic food where they do a balsamic noodle and the little balls of like passion fruit and stuff, and they make like dust that tastes like cotton candy dust on the plate, and you're like, what the fuck is this? Then you eat it and it has so much flavor.
Oh, right.
And it's a real weird play on food, and it tricks the mind, and it's real fun to eat because you don't know what you're getting, you know, and you can't tell what it is by looking at it. But yeah, it's dope though. I really enjoyed eating there. But if I were to make my own food, like fine dining is the time you put into the food. To me, is all the time, because like I can go to a normal restaurant and there's someone to prep stuff for me, and I don't have to really prep too much. But like fine dining, the cook himself gets there early and is prepping all morning till 5 o'clock service. You're serving for 5 or 6 hours. Like you're only open for 5 or 6 hours. Each dish is expensive, and you're making it worth that money because the cook is putting in that much time and they're putting extra stuff for it, you know. It's not like casual dining where you're just making like it tastes good, you know. You're making it taste good, you're making it look good, and you're making it, the eyes think it's good. You're making everything about it like fine, you know.
Right.
Those small little tiny dishes, they make them small because you're eating so many courses.
Scared for it, yeah. Huh. So what do you think? What do you think? Some of your you've talked about it a little bit though. Like your presentation wasn't the best, and how like your stations were messy. What do you think? Some of your other challenges? Hey, you got to calm down, fam. Like you were so hyped right now.
Yeah, he loves it.
You're like amps right now.
He's a whore, bro.
He normally not up. Like we've had moments, but he's normally like, oh, come on, man, what's up?
Cause that fresh cut, bro.
You got that fresh cut.
He gets more attention now like that. He's getting more attention now. Before he looked like a hairy ball sack, and like now he looks a little cleaned up.
He looks like a presentable ball sack.
Yeah, he looks like he's shaved.
That's funny. What do you think some of the challenges are? Some of the challenges you're still having with cooking, or things that you know you can improve on, or whatever?
Asking more questions. I think I know everything. I don't want to sound like arrogant or anything, but I know mostly everything I need to know to be a good cook, and I am a good cook. But I think I should ask more questions about details and learn more and more every day, which I do. I try and go places where I can learn more from than learn everything and be at the top of what I know and just be at the top, you know. I try and keep moving on from that.
I'm sure that's a fun thing down here in Austin, and to be able to bounce around in different restaurants, learn different things. Because it's a super culture in terms of food, art, anything that could be considered artsy. It seems to be a really.
It's more of an arty town. It is a foodie town, but like if you want to learn culture, it's Houston. Like where I'm from, Houston has different place. Our Chinatown's a whole hood, you know. Our Chinatown's a piece of the city.
Hey, fam.
And our Chinatown's a piece of the city. And then there's a Salvadoran side, Guatemalan side, Dominican side, Cuban side. There's a Italian side, German side. It's a melting pot there. There's everything there. Here in Austin, there's a lot of people trying to bring food here. And that's what makes it a foodie town, because there's so many food trucks trying to do different things.
There's a lot of people trying to bring their business here to make it poppin' here.
Yeah, right and because it's more of an attraction to different stuff, you know. And it's not like a melting pot, but a lot of people do come here that aren't from Austin.
From all over
which is
all over
dope.
the world are here. Yeah.
Well, to me, what I see in Houston is people from all over the world, and in Austin, I see people from all over America.
I guess I haven't been here long enough, and I haven't been in Houston enough to be able to really comment on that difference.
Like if I take you to Chinatown,
that's how I always felt about Kansas City versus Austin. I feel like Kansas City's a melting pot of people all over the nation because it's right in the middle of America. Yeah. So people from all over the fucking place come over, and it's people will chill and stop
Kansas
there.
City, Kansas City has a dope food place too, bro.
Oh yeah,
barbecue there is dope. Like there's Kansas City barbecue, you know. And it's in Missouri. It's not in Kansas.
Right.
The Kansas City barbecue is in the Missouri side.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. Most of Kansas City is in Missouri. And Kansas City is a pretty wide spot. So, like, it's Kansas City, and Kansas City, Missouri. But,
and
there's a lot of cool hole-in-the-wall spots all over
and that's why
Kansas City as well.
Like, cooks go there, like, chefs go there and, like, want to try the food there. Like, I've always wanted to try. I know the difference between Kansas. I don't know a lot about barbecue. That's one food that it's an art too, because like, you know, different places have their different barbecue, different sauces,
specialties.
Like Carolina has a vinegar sauce. Over here we have ketchup based sauce. I don't remember our sauce.
Like Louisiana's and them got Cajun food.
Like that. Like Creole.
By the bayou.
I never knew Creole and Cajun were two different types of food till I started learning more about food. Creole comes from a lot of French stuff. They're similar food, but Creole is something that comes from a lot of French technique and a lot of French tasting stuff, and Cajun is coming from Louisiana, you know, and that's pretty dope to me. I never knew that shit.
It's crazy.
And like New Orleans is a good spot for food too, but that's more like when you go to the southern states, it's a lot of soul food. Once you hit Atlanta, bro, there's a lot of soul food there.
That's dope. I feel like I've had this conversation on one of my previous episodes. I'm just not remembering which one, but just based off of like you going to school and all that, cause like for me, you already touched on it a little bit with how much you've learned from other people and all that stuff, and just how much you've expanded through some of your different teachers.
And I've learned from younger cats than me, and I've learned from older people. I feel like younger people, there's some young people that know what they're talking about, and like a lot of young people when they talk to me, they're like, wow, he knows a lot. But I'm not so easy to give out my knowledge unless I know you're willing to hear it, you know? Because some people are really like, oh, I already know that, but I have a different way of telling you.
That's
and I have a different way of explaining it. That's why a lot of cooks like me, because I'm willing to hear what you have to say. Even though if I know it, but if you're really repetitive and you try and belittle me, like, no, I don't want to hear your shit. And that's the one thing with me, like, I don't need to be, like, told something over and over again. Because I know what I'm doing is different, but I do it in my certain way. But, like, you know, learning how to use spoons was the hardest thing for me.
Why?
Because it's weird, bro. In fine dining, when I was used to doing is, like, putting on gloves and switching out my gloves a lot or washing my hands a lot. But when I first started fine dining, everyone uses spoons. And they take the spoons. And I used to think it was nasty because you're throwing in the same vein. You know, a bane's like this little tub where you hold all your spoons and all your stuff. But like, then I started noticing it's a lot more efficient and it's a little bit more cleaner. I switch out my bane a lot. Like, I always try and wash it. Unless I'm fucking slammed, I won't switch that whole out. But it's easier to use spoons because you taste more things. Like, I used to never taste my food. Now I always taste it. Like, you saw me, I taste it. Take the spoon, throw in water, and then taste it again. Because, like, it was one thing that was hard for me to learn, and now that like I understood it, like someone had to sit down and explain it to me, you know, why we do this and why we do it. And that's the one thing I said I need to work on. Like I need to ask more questions why. And I've been told that more than once. But like I ask why for bigger things, you know. I don't ask why for little details. And like I said, in this industry, it's more about the details than anything else.
Yeah. That's fly. That's fly.
Yeah.
Well, another, just touching on that even more. Just I was thinking about just the fact that you went to the school and just got some of the knowledge. Now you touched on the fact that your teachers didn't really teach you anything in terms of like techniques.
No, they teach you techniques, but they don't teach you how to work in the industry really well. You know, they can explain to you what you're gonna expect from the industry. A lot of long nights, a lot of times where you're pissed off and shit, and they'll explain it to you well. But I only have 2 or 3 teachers from like that school that I really like. Wow, he taught me a lot, you know.
Right.
And just because like my last teacher, he sat down and would talk to us, but like, you know, me and him had a lot of heart-to-hearts one-on-one, and I actually have his number, and I talk to him, I text him like, hey, I'm doing this. He's like, oh wow, I like that restaurant. Or like, he's straight up, bro. He's like me. He'll tell me if I like. He'll be like, man, when he first so I had switched knives, or one time I forgot what I did, bro, and like one knife was dull. He's like, man, this first week shit, you know. And that shit made me laugh so hard because he's a little short white dude, bro. He's like, man, that's some first week shit. He's like, what are you doing on the last few weeks of your school having a knife like that? I was like, man, you're right. And then he sat down. He's like, look, this is how you're supposed to sharpen your knife. I don't know who else taught you. He's like, but this is how I want you to, and this is what's gonna help you. And like, you know, he explained to me a lot of things. I learned a lot in the short time I had him. I wish I had him for longer. You know, I wish I had him for a whole year, because he's more of a down-to-earth person, and he thinks more like me. He's real goofy, and he's real fun to be around, and real fun to like talk to and shit. But like, he can be serious, but he doesn't take everything seriously. And then like the Italian chef, I say, he was always serious. I saw him laugh. I saw him smirk twice, and I saw him laugh maybe 3 times. And his his hardcore laugh was for like 20 seconds, and then he stopped, you know. Like, that was like him laughing hardcore, like, oh, that's funny, dog. Like, you know. I was like, damn, this man's like fucking scary.
So do you think you would have been, how do you feel about school in general? Like, if someone came up and suggested whether they should go to culinary school, what would you say to them?
That's a hard question.
It is
actually.
Very hard.
That is a really hard question.
That can vary, but
it's kind of like,
I'm curious.
It's kind of like me asking you, do you regret going to art school, or should you have went to art school knowing that you could learn everything you learned outside of art school from mentors?
Yeah, I think about that a lot.
And I think about it too, because, you know, a lot of people tell me, oh, culinary school, why'd you go to culinary school? That's a waste if you're going to learn everything outside of culinary school, what you're going to learn in culinary school.
But pay a whole bunch of money just to do this and then
that's why I hear all the time, bro. And that's why I think a lot of artists have a lot of similarities with food people and a lot of similarities with music people, because everyone asks why you go to school for that. And I mean, to me, I don't want to say I regret it, but I know I could have learned more if I didn't spend that year. But then again, I wouldn't have been, I wouldn't have came out here, and I wouldn't have learned more about, I wouldn't have tried different foods. I wouldn't have been willing to go to different foods. I feel like before culinary school, I was kind of just hopping to Spanish restaurant, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and now I'm like, oh wow, I know a little bit more about all these foods, you know.
Right.
And I'm willing to try more things, and I wanna try and travel eventually, you know.
So you think school might have been the introduction to
some
things that you might not have learned without?
Yeah, I mean, school doesn't teach you how to fucking work, and that's why people ask you why go. But like,
you think that's
school gives me an interest.
Yeah, and I think that's what's it for me. Like, I can confidently say I'd be drawing all the fucking time with or without going to school, but I couldn't break down. I couldn't look at like the fucking flowers over there and break down
structure.
Yeah,
behind what you want to do.
Exactly. I couldn't break down why I like something. I wouldn't have the technical knowledge on some of the things I had, I probably never would have tried sculpting. I had a teacher
Damn.
push me into sculpting for weeks, fam. Like, I did some plaster cast shit, but that's different. That's get wax on your hand, let that wax dry, cut your hand out, and then fill it up. And that's not the same as take a blob and cut that bitch and really sculpt something.
Yeah.
Like, I had a teacher push me into that for weeks, and I was scared, man. I didn't want nothing to do with that, but he kept pushing and kept pushing. Like, just try it. Months later, I got a 7-foot wing sculpture, and like that shit just happened. Yeah, and like without school, that probably wouldn't have happened. Like just certain little things that just teach you, like some assignments that you're rolling your eyes at, and you're like, "Fuck, I don't want to do this."
Yeah, I was the same way, and a lot of times I was like, "Man, I don't want to fucking do that."
I was shitting on art history the whole time I was in school, and I was thrilled to be in my last art history class. Like, yes, I don't got to do this shit ever again. All my art classes,
I had to
gravy.
That's funny because I had to do food history too.
I was terrible at art history, bro. And then I go to Italy, and I'm seeing all these different things, and I'm seeing all these buildings, and there's so many things that I'm like, damn.
Yeah, and art has to deal with a lot with architecture, doesn't it?
Yep, huge. It's a big thing, and I didn't care about the architecture part at all. Like, I never cared about that. Like, I want to break down paintings, drawings, and like all that. I never looked at a building like a piece of art before, so like I really had to, which is funny now because now I have that knowledge to look at
building.
Like all even like here in America, all the Congress buildings, any government building has a design based off of old Italian, old classical Renaissance.
And a lot of
buildings
things are classical, like even with food, like you go eat a paella, that's classical. You go eat pescana or something like that. That's so old. There's a saying about that like the reason why they made it the way it smells and the way it is because it's real, like it smells real flagrant, it smells really beautiful, is because old Italian woman put it out in her window, like kind of like putting a pie out your window to attract people to come. But like, but I hated classical cooking. I was like, man, this is such, a lot of it is flavorful, but it's a lot of boring techniques, you know? And then when we got to like international cooking, bro, that's where I thrived. And but actually in my classical cooking, practical, bro, like I blew everyone out the water, you know? I had to do a classical roasted chicken and a classical, I had to take spinach, raisins, pine seeds and a bunch of other stuff, and like everyone was like, damn, man, look at what Peter's doing, you know? Like I was making shit, and even Kenny was like, bro, that nigga's killing that shit, you know? And to get that from that nigga, you know, a dude that he's like, you know, between me and him are yin and yang, because I'm more humble and passive about how good I am, and he's more outspoken and stuff. But he's a badass baker, but I don't think he's a better cook than me. And even if he hears this, I'll tell him too. Like I don't think he's a better cook than me, but he will blow me out the water as bakery wise. Like baking something, I can bake something, and I can make like savory things. But I'm no baker worth the shit, bro. Like, I don't have patience for it. I don't like weighing out stuff. I don't like doing all that stuff. But that's all essential things in baking. And baking's an art by itself. But, like, to me, cooking something, bro, I can do whatever you need, you know? Like, another thing was being really good at my knife work, you know? And, like, I'm okay with knife work. I can do stuff really straight and I can do everything, but I'm not like the fastest now. I can't show out. I can't go like this, come out, and shit like.
Yeah, niggas be clowning with them. Right?
Yeah, but like
Salt Bay and shit.
Yeah, but like, you know, I can make the food taste better than what that is. Like, knife work is big, but as long as I can get the end product looking as good as it should be and taste great, like no one's ever told me, man, what you made was bad, you know.
Right.
Only like chefs that are trying to criticize me and make me better, and I respect it. You know, I tell everyone who criticizes me, now like I thank you for the criticism, and like people are like, wow, that's good. They're like, for your age, you don't take it as an insult, and I was like, because I don't need. If you take everything as an insult, bro, it's like, what's the point of trying to get better?
Talk about it, God. Oh.
And artists and chefs both get insulted, and they feel the insult more than other people.
Yeah.
I can insult someone who does finances, like, man, you ain't good at pushing numbers. You know, but like they aren't gonna care. Like this is my job either way. But like you tell the artist, bro, I don't like the way you did this. You like, damn, and you tell me, man, this doesn't taste good. I'm like, fuck, what did I do wrong? You know, like
Right.
I try and go back over from the beginning to the ending. Like, what did I miss?
Yeah, that's a huge, that's a really, really huge thing. 'Cause there's so many things as humans that we take into consumption, whether it be music, food, or whatever, and we're so in tune with how we feel about it. With, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is terrible, and we forget the fact that somebody worked their ass off to make
do
that.
Yeah,
like, and in their mind, they might not have realized that it was that shitty or whatever it was, or there might have been one little thing that they did wrong in that's like, fuck, man, or even that, like just phrasing in general, like, man, that's a big, even for just this in general, like,
like someone could leave a comment on that shit, like, man, his food didn't look that good. I'm like, man, fuck that nigga.
See, I don't even think about that. I think about the fact that, like, I'm hella opinionated, especially about music. Like,
like we've gone to like kind of arguments about music before. You're like, man, that's not true and shit, and it's just opinionated. And food is like that too. You can have someone who likes spicy food but thinks it's too salty, or you can have someone who has an allergy and you take out something that would make it taste good to you, and you're like, man, that just killed the whole dish, but they have an allergy to it, and they're like, oh, this dish isn't as good as it is, and it's like, man, I wish you could taste it, like how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's just, it's wild. It's wild. Or you can just say something that could be so offensive or just be misunderstood. I think about so much now that I'm in the process of recording shit and putting it on the internet and all that. I have to be so careful with the way I express my passion. Like, for example, Lil Wayne. If I just say, if I say my own, man, fuck Lil Wayne.
But you grew up in a different time. Like, you grew up in a different part. Like, you're a little bit older than me, where Lil Wayne was the shit when he came out. And I grew up when he was, like, falling off, but he was still, like, when I remember hearing Lil Wayne, I liked Lil Wayne. And, like, I grew up with a point where, like, he was kind of falling off, you know?
Right. You can see, and I saw both. I saw the rise and fall. And I was there for the whole rise, like, way before he was projected to be that nigga. Like, I was on the train.
You were on
and
the
I
train,
saw it. And I saw it happen, and I predicted that he was going to be one of the dopest niggas. And then it happened. And then I finally realized, at least in my mind, in my opinion, that the music just, substance-wise, just wasn't where it was anymore. Just maybe something, or maybe I outgrew it, or whatever the fuck it is. But, like, I can't just say, man, fuck that nigga, without getting extremely like, oh, you're a hater. It's so easy to get misunderstood, and they won't realize the fact that, like, yo, like, nah, like, I can name a lot of Lil Wayne shit that, like, somebody who called me a hater wouldn't even know for real. But it's interesting how that shit can happen, or just something with food and how that can tie into.
To me, artists and sports are like, artists in general is food, music, art, and sports. You always have your point where you're starting to peak, and then you always have your decline. Even if your decline isn't that bad, you're always gonna decline. In life, you're gonna do that.
Music and sports are very, very similar in that regard.
Like, you will be on your golden time, and then you'll slowly decline, where you can shine still, or you can just plummet straight down to the floor. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
but cause I'm just thinking, because the comparisons, right? Because sports, you get older and your body deteriorates, but
there's some people who just decline out. Like, there's some people in the NBA that, like, you're like, he's still playing, like, that you used to be, like, Jeremy Lin, bro. That's a good example. You were like, let's say, and now you're like, that nigga's still on. Like, that nigga's still playing 5-on-5 somewhere. Like, what?
Yeah, he's still playing.
He's still playing. And, like, I found that out, like, a year ago, but, like, for a while after the insanity, I was like, dawg, that nigga's, like, out of the NBA.
I think the difference in music is, like, in music, I'd argue that the musicians themselves don't necessarily get worse, but as we grow up,
they're trying to catch up with.
As we grow up, our opinions change, and then the people who are.
But their classics are always gonna be good, just like a sports, just like a basketball player.
Always.
Classics always will be your classic.
sometimes.
Michael Jackson, how many times do you go back to his classic?
Of course, but they had you just named the king of pop. Let's think of another classic. DMX made classics.
Yes, but like,
But how many people are really talking about a DMX classic
I know.
right now? Nah, see what I'm
but
saying?
if you play a DMX classic in a club, people are like, oh, this
some
DMX.
songs, yeah, stop, drop, yeah, a few of them, yeah, but.
Cause they have their golden time, bro.
Right.
Everyone has their time to shine. Even with cooks, bro. Chefs in general.
I think that's what's different with cooks, though. And
we
like,
don't
even
get
what
as
I
much.
do.
We don't get much publicity as artists as cooks. That's the similar.
But our mediums allow us to improve with time versus with music. Music, whether regardless why it happens, with music and sports, there is a shelf life.
Yeah.
And you're only gonna be popping for so long. Like,
that's true.
Versus our mediums, we can be 50
as we
years
get
old.
older, we get better.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
like I'm gonna know
benefit.
more than I do when I'm 50 than I am now.
Right.
You know?
I think about that a lot. Like even
Like
at
when I get to
40,
that age,
bro,
I expect myself to be able to do whatever, you know.
Yeah, I feel like I'll be able to draw anything in seconds.
I mean,
40,
even now, I think I can do whatever.
Gotta change this shit. Even now, what?
Even now, I feel I can do whatever. Just cause like most people from my age, they don't know much about different foods than I do. They can name a couple, they can do classical cooking, or they can do a couple things really great, and they already have their favorite dish. But I don't have a favorite dish. I mean, I can say, man, that's one of my favorite things to eat, but I can't say, damn, that's my favorite shit, like, ever.
I wonder how long we got. The GoPro's still going too, swag.
Yeah, how long have we recorded? I'm sorry, guys, I don't mean to rush y'all niggas.
We got an hour 15 on here. No, we straight. We Gucci. I feel like we covered a lot, though, for real. We got to a lot of your beginnings. We got to school. We got to the different things you made today. How fire that was. I said thank you. I feel like we got it for the most part. Yeah. So yeah, and I mean, this is gonna be a little. This is the fun part about it. You can't just dictate how long the episodes are gonna be. So every time if I have two guests, I know it's gonna be 2 hours most of the time. 'Cause two people can talk quite a bit. It kind of divides up an hour for each person, kind of. But some of them are kind of quick. But this was a dope ass episode. I'm not gonna have to edit shit for real because you cooked, and then we got video for this. Now it'd be interesting. I don't know when I'm gonna throw your cooking video in. I can put the cooking video in. Ooh, I can maybe slide the cooking videos in during this still. I don't know if I can do a video on a video. I think I can though. That'd be lit. That'd be lit.
What, a hood video?
No.
I thought that's what you said.
You know how you can do picture-in-picture things?
Oh, yeah.
I think I can put the videos of you cooking in certain spots during this whole thing, because I don't need the cooking video if we got a whole hour 15. We got the whole part of this right here, but I can also throw some cooking vids in there too.
Well, my cooking video was only like what, 20-30 minutes,
something like that.
So
and I can just take straight pictures from it too.
Yeah, that's good. That's almost 2 hours. That's an hour and 30 minutes. Hour and 40 minutes.
Well, I'm not gonna combine the two. I'm gonna throw them. You'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. We'll see. But yeah, yo, this is episode 10. 10 episodes. 10th anniversary. Hey, no, anniversary is a year.
No, anniversary is after a year.
My dumb ass. But the 10th one, fuck it. That just feels like achievement. That'd be an Xbox achievement if this was a video game. You got to 10 episodes. So yeah, yo, this is gonna be concluding episode 10. You know, like, comment, do the subscribe shit, hit the subscribe button, do all that stuff to follow. Make sure you don't miss episode 11.
It's a pleasure being with y'all.
You know.
Hopefully y'all see me. Come see me at Kura.
He nigga had to throw air within there.
The Kura on South Lamar, Urban Thai food. You know.
This nigga plugged it.
Remember you asked for Peter. If you want to take some sake bombs.
What's your Snapchat, nigga? This nigga Snapchat's lit.
I think at me it's Peter Doughboy. I'm pretty sure it's Peter Doughboy.
Peter_Doughboy.
Peter_Doughboy. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make sure I put some credits in there.
If you ask who was that made that name, No, Peter made it.
He's stupid. And then the Instagram, what's the Instagram? You know, this nigga he don't post food on none of his shit.
Yeah, I do. I basically just started posting food on my Instagram.
Okay, all right.
One rave that underscore heart. One rave heart. Yeah, I want to be like Braveheart, but Raveheart. Braveheart. you know what made me thought about it? Was the part where he's like, they are killers, and he's hyping everyone up. And I was like, bro, that's gonna be me before we go to the club. Just like, we're not losing tonight. What did Jerry used to say? He used to be like, two times.
I don't know. I never seen the movie, so I don't know the reference.
To Braveheart?
I've never seen Braveheart, fam.
Braveheart? Oh,
that's a Mel Gibson movie, ain't it?
I don't even know.
It's funny, you don't even fuck with movies like that. You caught a classic that I didn't watch.
Braveheart.
I've caught that it's a classic. I just never watched.
Bro, he hypes up everyone to go get killed, bro, and they win though.
That's what happens.
Yeah, he hypes all them.
Oh wait, his team.
His team wins, but they were all supposed to get killed, but he hypes them up like they're gonna survive.
The good guys win.
Yeah.
Okay.
No movies like that. The good guy always wins.
300, they did.
Oh, with 300, them niggas got slaughtered.
Slaughtered, yeah.
They had no chance.
Rough. Well.
But they did throw some punches, some jabs. They got some jabs in.
Yeah, they did. Well, there's another one, folks. It was good. It was fun. Appreciate anybody that was. Let's see, we at hour 20. Anybody at hour and 20 in, just hit the subscribe button. You fuck with me anyway. You fuck with this. You fuck what we doing. Other artists, I'm trying to get y'all's process shown a lot more like this as well. Do whatever's comfortable for y'all. And let's conclude another episode.
Hopefully I can be on another one. Please shout it out.
Yeah, we'll get another one in there. Yeah, but we need more of y'all to fuck with us so we can keep this shit going, yo. But I appreciate anybody that listens, watches, whatever you do. And we out this. So this nigga in the vape tricks. Yeah. That's funny. That's hilarious. I can't believe that shit lasted that long.
Told you no. What time is it?
It's only 6:43.
Bro, you want to take me to the liquor store? I'll buy a bottle.
You trying to buy a bottle or some shit?
Not something big.